Hi, it's Amanda with Always in Love. We're here today with our first of our buddy read. This chat is for Protecting Shaylee by Elle Christensen, and it's kind of one of those books that we've never read, so we decided to read it together. And Eth and Joe's going to tell you a little bit about it.
So kind of what's going on in the book. This is Shaylee and Aden. Shaylee is a child and she believed in fairy tales. And as a young girl, she just kind of just wanted to believed in all that stuff. And Aden is kind of sworn to protect her. And so he's kind of this, I don't call him a dark knight, but he kind of is a dark knight sitting in the background, and he's going to be their protector. And they're unable to lie. And so throughout this thing, as the first four chapters come along, Shaylee is kind of just a young college student going to NNU, and Aden is somebody that she's known her whole life. She just lost her dad, and so she's kind of just going through this, and she's kind of just this beautiful woman not knowing that something's going to change. And Aden is this sworn to protect her. He's never going to lie to her. And he's kind of this dark and mysterious person, and I really kind of appreciate it.
Okay, so this is our discussion. We broke it up into four chapters for every time, and we're going to discuss each of the four chapters, kind of what goes on, what kind of stuff. So if you don't want any spoilers, or if you haven't read the book, press pause and read the book and then come back and join us. So here we go. We're going to start talking about the first four chapters. So this book really starts off with a quote that I really felt kind of set the tone for the entire reading. It grabbed my attention, and it really made the reading even more interesting. So it says, "It's common among humans to see things not as they are, but what their imaginations perceive them to be. Experiences are romanticized and folklore is created. However, some of these tall tales are not as far-fetched as you might think, for within a lie, there is always a kernel of truth." And it's really talking about, like, how we may see these strange things, but our brain processes them and makes them tales and makes them kind of how we understand them. And it's a really interesting thought. It's a really interesting storyline, and it just kind of picked up from there.
And it's kind of like where I read that and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool because, as a kid that always wanted to believe that, and having two girls is kind of like, you want to believe in that. And then something else that kind of stuck out with me was one of them that says, that Shaylee said, "I should enjoy being young because all too soon my life will cease to be within my own control." And so that was the other thing. It's like, okay, so what's going to happen? And, we don't, it's just kind of like, this is a build up. This is only like the first chapter. And then, she sounds gorgeous and really smart. Like, I like what she's going to college for. She wants to go help children. And I kind of have a soft spot for that.
Yeah, so the first chapter, the prologue talks a little bit about the magic and the things like that, and just, a little bit about what the Fae are and kind of introduces you to it. And then the first chapter, we found out that it's her 21st birthday, and there's a birthday party. So she finds out that Aden, the guy that she's grown up with and kind of had a crush on and everything, and who kind of disappeared and left her, we kind of get to know him a little bit through flashbacks. And then we start kind of going into the dual perspectives, which I love getting into other characters' heads. I love where we're able to see both of the perspectives, and she does a really good job of writing the male voice for Aden. And then we just we learn more about where we stopped at the fourth chapter. It kind of right when everything gets discovered, like they finally tell her that she's actually half fae, half human, and it really starts to pick up. Like, she really doesn't know what to do with this information. She really doesn't know what to do. She can't process it, but they have to move now because there are people that are after her, and it seems like it's going to be a really good book, and I'm really excited to keep reading and find out what happens next. How you did?
Go ahead.
How did you feel about, like, how Aden was introduced and how we learned a little bit about him and what's going on?
I kind of was this person I pictured. I was just like, hot damn. He just one of those guys that I keep seeing dark and mysterious, but he's not dark. He just has like this, I don't know, this aura about him that I really like, and I kind of instantly liked him and hear him talking hear him calling her Buttercup, and it's just like, I don't know. I love dual perspectives. I really like how when authors do like his side, her side, because you can kind of see what he's thinking. Because when I read, I want to know what is he thinking when this is all going on, and I
Yeah.
really like that. And that's kind of why I like Aden, is because he's an open book, and you're gonna listen and hear everything what he's thinking.
Yeah, they say that they say they mean everything that they say, and if they don't, then they keep their mouth shut, and it's really great to read that in a book.
Yeah.
But like Aiden, his character is he's kind of like the protector bad boy, but he's like a really good guy. So it's that whole dueling thing going on, and it was actually really fun to read. I really enjoyed it. Um,
It
what since we've never read anything that has anything to do with kind of the fae or the supernatural, anything like that, what do you think about it so far? How are you? Is it explained really well? I mean, how are you feeling going into it?
For me, it's actually explained pretty well, because actually that that prologue kind of explains stuff, and then it kind of describes like the Fey world and the realm. And for me, this is completely out of my scope of reading, so I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. But I like it. I actually kind of like how she describes it, and how Shaylee's parents were, her mom is Irish and her dad was a Fae, and it talks about this. And he could have gone back to the realm, but he chose not to, and he chose to be with his wife, and he aged. And I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of like one of those, it makes you feel good, but there's a plot coming, because we're only at chapter 4.
There's also been hinted at a couple times of this the fated for
Yeah,
people to be fated together. So is it?
yeah.
Do you get the feeling that it's going to be like people are meant to be like the fae is meant to pair or with a person, or how do you think?
I think so. I think so. It's like they said that some people are just meant to be together. It's like that love at first sight. And I can attest to that. It does happen, and I've known people that have met somebody, and that was that instant connection, like they boom, and it's true life. And as I'm reading this, it's like it kind of brings some of that to life. Like these people are maybe fated to be together.
So I was having trouble wrapping my head around the fact that he doesn't age. So he's been this 20-year-old guy or whatever for so long, and he knew her as a little girl, and now she's grown up. That would be hard for me to process. If like in a human's brain, you're thinking this guy's got to be 40. He might look my age, but he's that much older than me. Don't you think that that would be a little strange?
It would, but my husband is 20 years older than me, so for me,
Like
age doesn't
you were
matter.
8 and he was the same age
Okay,
as your dad. I mean, how?
that's true. So that kind of, I had to actually read that a couple of times to come to figure out, like, okay, so is he 20 years older, or is the dad older, and Aiden is like his dad's best friend, but there's like this 20-year age gap. And so I was trying to picture that out, and I actually asked my husband that question. He goes, is there a problem with the age? And I'm like, no, 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 I just have a quite, so you know me.
I think it's going to be interesting, and I really hope that they've talked about it a little bit in these chapters, which is kind of cool. And then
Yeah.
also like they just as she gets older, they have this like intense chemistry that they can't fight anymore, and it's I have a feeling that that's going to come into play quite a bit as well,
Well,
especially with her feisty personality.
I kind of like that, and it's just like her inner voice was saying, her girl inside is squealing with delight, and then her outside voice is like, shut the, she's just kind of has this tough girl attitude, and I kind of like it. And she says what she's on her mind, and I think that's the Faye part of it, because they said that they don't lie. And she's 21 now, so she's gonna finally start getting her powers, and she can use it. And she's just like, are you guys kidding me? What's really going on? I'm in New York. I'm going to NNU, and so that's why I kind of like it. I just think that I'm kind of excited to read chapters 5 through 8 now, because I want to know. It's like didn't want to stop.
Yeah, we I definitely can't wait to see it. You're just starting to learn a little bit more about, what goes on, like the Marked and the Fey realms and all that kind of stuff, and it was just kind of basically all sprung on her and sprung on us, and then we stopped reading. So I look forward to our next one next week. If you want to learn
Yep.
more about the book or find the links or the author, Elle Christensen, you can see it all in the description, and we will have the next part tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys.